Good folks, man. J. Ross checking in. So it is going down. We got to talk about it. October 25th, the showdown of the two New Orleans powerhouses. That's right. Cash Money Records, No Limit Records, versus battle going down in Las Vegas. I want to shout out to first and foremost. I want to shout out to Swiss Beats and Timberland for even putting this thing together, man. So I really want to just talk about this and how important this is to the hip hop and the South especially, and for New Orleans especially, man. So first thing first, man. I want to give a big thank you to Cash Money Records and No Limit Records for everything that they have contributed to hip hop, man. And they definitely deserve this moment. I didn't expect to ever see this coming. This has been my dream to see both of them on stage at the same time. Now, as far as will Birdman be there, I'm not sure because I do know him and Master P do have their little differences, due to the Magnolia and Calliope situation that happened in the 90s. But hopefully they could put all that aside for this special moment right here, man. Now, look, I've been debating with people, right? I was debating with somebody last night online, and they're talking about that No Limit will wipe Cash Money, but I don't think that's the case. It's definitely gonna be close, but I think Cash Money just has a better catalog. When you look at No Limit and you look at Cash Money, No Limit's whole thing was let's see how many albums we can put out in a short amount of time and how much money we can make on it, right? Cash Money thing was let's see how good of albums that we can put out, and of course, how much money we can make from that. When you compare both labels, right? No Limit, again, No Limit's thing was quantity. Because you got to believe it. Okay, so you got the True, right? Master P, Silk, C Murder, right? They had Me and X. They had Fiend. They had Cain and Abel. They had Skullduggery. They had Mystical. They had Soldier Slim. They had Mr. Servon. They had Mr. Magic. They had so many. They had too many artists on that label. You know what I mean? Of course, Snoop Dogg was there for 3 albums. They had too many artists, and No Limit just doesn't have a like. I guess for that time because it was so legendary. But when you can compare the music, their music's not. Their music as a whole, as a roster and everything, is not mashing up to Cash Money at all, right? When you talk about Cash Money, right? Of course, we talk about 400 Degrees. We talk about Soldier Rags, right? We talk about the G Code. We talk about the Block is Hot, Chopper City. It's all on you. It's all on you. Volume 2, right? Guerrilla Warfare, but plus the big time stuff. They had a lot of They had a lot of good albums because again, they had their main caliber of artists that they focused on, and all of those artists were able to establish themselves as individual artists. And even after some of them left Cash Money, they still had their own solo careers and became relevant. Mine is tight, you know what I mean? Juvenile left Cash Money. He had his own thing going. BG left. He had, with the Heart of the Streets and Life After Cash Money album. He has a few others after that. He was doing his thing. Of course, when they left, Wayne put that label on his back and carried it. And of course, and then he launched Young Money. And then we got Nicki, we got Drake, and even Tiger. People don't like to give Tiger credit, but Tiger was definitely a big deal. But man, when you look at it, right? These two labels, when they came out, were so legendary. For one, they were from the South, and we hadn't seen nothing like this. Like you had all the other labels out there, Death Row, and you had the Def Jams and the Bad Boys, and the Rockefellers and Murder Incs. You had all these other labels out, Social Deaths and stuff like that. But when No Limit and Cash Money were able to do was, for one, they changed the way that independent artists were able to get paid. And P definitely opened up that door when he got his deal for Cash Money. Now I know a lot of people want to say, okay, well, P, you know, P was popping first, but if you're a real fan and you know your history, you do know when it came to New Orleans hip hop history, right? It was Cash Money, there was Big Boy, it was Take Four Records out there who were doing their thing. Then Master P didn't really build his buzz in New Orleans till like the Mr. Ice Cream, and then after that, of course, when he started bubbling, then people got behind him, man. I'm definitely again I'm gonna be talking about this all day, right? I'm definitely excited to see this, right? I love both labels. Again, I grew up on No Limit. I grew up on Cash Money. That's all. I listened to both of those. I remember we used to get those newspapers, right? They had the ads, they had like Best Buy and Circuit City and Target and all those. I remember every time I looked in the Best Buy in Circuit City, No Limit had an album out every week. No Limit were kind of the ones who really like started, how these artists now are putting out a lot of music, right? Back to back, putting out a lot of songs, flooding with music, right? The way that young boys putting out music now. This is the same way that Master P was doing. Master P was ahead of his time when it came to business, and you know I think that's why he was able to make so much money because he kind of had an exit plan. But when you talk about Birdman and Slim, them dudes' main income was just music. I'm pretty sure they got other business ventures here and there, but they just really did it just off of music alone. A lot of people had to go to a lot of people got into movies and a lot of people got into clothing and a lot of stuff, right? There's nothing wrong with having more than one income, right? You need it, right? But the way these two were able to do it, it was just crazy. I think No Limit's downfall was Master P. I don't think Master P had anybody to focus on the music side of the label for him. Like I know he had Boz, but I'm not really sure how what Boz's role was in No Limit. I just know he was P's right hand man. But because P got into basketball, he got into movies, doing TV shows and that, all that. So that's what suffered because you got to think Mystical left, you know what I mean? Snoop Dogg left. Mia X, she left eventually. Beats by the Pound left. And all No Limit really had was Lil Romeo. And even that wasn't enough. And that's why I think the downfall came and that's why they died out, right? And I'm pretty sure Pete didn't really care for music no more because once he made all that money he made, it was like, all right, I'm out. Versus, again, when we talk about Wayne, Wayne had to put that label on his back because there was nobody else there to really to do it. And he carried that label, with the Carters and the mixtape names and all that. And then once Young Money took off, it was a wrap, man. But I love Birdman, I love Slim, I love Master P, man. You talk about a group of individuals who really had to get it out the mud. And man, them dudes came from nothing and they built some powerhouses, made a lot of money, sold a lot of records. Now, of course, both labels had their issues and different things like that, right? But when we just take away everything else and we talk about the music, man, we got a lot of good music, man, from both sides, man. P with the Mr. Ice Cream Man and the Ghetto Dope, and the Mystical when he was on there, and of course, like C Murder, and we definitely got a lot of music from the label. We got some legend, we got some classic hood movies from No Limit. I'm about it. I got the hookup. You know what I mean? That the Hot Boys movie. I got the Hot Boys movie on DVD. Matter of fact, man. So Master P. He was on. I remember seeing Master P. No Limit on WCW as a kid, going crazy. Like that's how big Master P was a big deal, man. I don't think a lot of people realize like how big P was in them days, man. But look, man, out of everything I said, again, rest in peace, man. Rest in peace to Skullduggery. Rest in peace to Soldier Slim, man. All the C Murder, you know, beats his case. Rest in peace to Mr. Magic, man. No Limit, No Limit lost some people on that side. Even though Soldier Slim, was on No Limit for a short amount of time, he definitely was a big deal for them signing him because he was already somebody that was established in New Orleans. And if you know anything about New Orleans, they love Soulja Slim. That is like their Tupac. You talk to anybody, that was their Tupac. But look, man, let me know who y'all got, man. Do y'all got Cash Money? Do y'all got No Limit?